I'm saying it because I don't get it. I'm a bar Jew.
Someone put on the comments, see, someone goes, I didn't know he was bald.
Yeah. Baldy.
Bald.
Baldy.
What is it? What is him?
If I had glasses, I look like the Halifax man.
I didn't call you baldy.
Baldy.
I didn't call you baldy.
I'm ashamed to be bald right now.
Yeah, man.
I was trying to say that bald was good when bloody Ten Hag was shining.
It is good.
Bald lives
Good
matter.
pep.
It's true.
Bald lives.
We're never gonna get this done.
Yes, people, welcome back to Never a Foul. It's the day after Manchester United's lost, so we are smiling a little bit because life moves forward.
Hold on. Is this like Groundhog Day, the day after a Man United loss?
The movie, day after
They just
tomorrow.
keep happening and keep happening and keep every 3 days.
This is our respite right now before we play against Fulham. But guys, we're here to talk Newcastle Arsenal, which is one of the best games of the Premier League weekend. Both teams need a win. Both teams coming in confident in a weird way, but they're not confident because Arsenal have knocked out the Carabao Cup, and obviously Newcastle defeated us. But make sure you're liking the video, people. Make sure you're subscribing as well. Get your comments in because Ramsdale looks finished, but Raya's coming back in.
So
Is
it's
Raya
not really
even good enough?
a confidence booster beating you, man, anymore, is it?
Nah, I think you know what it is. You know that game where you beat like a QPR or something, and you say, yeah, but it was only QPR. That's what we are, bro.
Like, if you beat Fulham at the
Yeah,
weekend.
it's like, oh yeah, but you only just
QPR.
yeah.
Is that what we're on?
No, but it's like QPR.
And Andy Johnson. And
You know when we said
QPR Stadium.
you know the same way, yeah, we said about Chelsea. Yeah, but you only beat Luton Town and all that. That's what we are, bro.
You only
you
beat
can't
Sheffield,
even.
you only
know-
beat Burnley. And
the
then
maddest
what?
thing is, you can't tell me right now, yeah, that you're confident going to beat Luton Town.
Real talk, no. You're actually, yeah. Do you know what? That's facts.
Switch to your local.
Yeah. Do you know what?
Anyway, let's
Yeah.
get into it.
Newcastle Arsenal. Daps.
Do you know what I was thinking? I was thinking about this when I was putting the bins out. Right, that's what dads do. Think about things like
Oh,
this.
nice
when
way
you're
to
doing-
talk about Newcastle.
No, I'm not talking about neither. It's just I'm a dad, innit? It's what you think about when you take
Bins are
out.
black and white, kind of, with the numbers on them. So it's
No,
Newcastle,
it was an orange
Newcastle
one, so
kit.
Hey.
recycled
Oh,
today.
recycle.
Yeah.
But no, I was thinking about it and thinking
I used to wear orange.
it's at St James's Park. Last year, Arsenal got a really good win there. I think it was 2-0, and it was during the title race. I was in Madrid. I just landed in Madrid. Year before it was that game that stopped Arsenal from getting top. So the form is a bit of both over the last two seasons. But I guess this is because when I put a team in a title race with City, whether it be Liverpool or Arsenal, because I think they both are this season, I automatically, most of their games go, it's a win for them. Just, it's a mental health thing.
Words
I
of
do.
gigs.
Right?
This is not one of them games. Or is it?
Right, so I will talk on Ramsdale and Raya because anyone that knows me, I am a fan of Arteta, as in, you know, I backed him way before most of the Arsenal. Not so much of a I do think this Ramsdale Raya thing is a situation, and Arsenal fans will downplay it, but I think it's a situation that didn't need to happen, right? Because Ramsdale wasn't broke, didn't need fixing, was a confident player, good mentality, team of the season last year, and got dropped out of nowhere. Ray's come in and listen, this isn't me because I haven't watched enough of Arsenal, but Arsenal fans tell me he hasn't been felt. Ramsdale comes and even then, Arteta doesn't bring Ramsdale back in. He then brings him back in for a Carabao Cup game where the squad has been so heavily rotated that it kind of tells Ramsdale where you are in the pecking order now.
And people watching the game think some of the goals were his fault.
Yeah. And they expect him to walk straight back in and have a 10-10 game. It doesn't work like that. But now it's like I feel both goalkeepers have doubts in them.
And do you know what? This is perfect. I'm going to come to you on this. Goalkeepers putting doubts in players' minds. You look at Van der Sar, and I always use this example. We signed him at Manchester United, and yes, he was a good keeper and won us trophies, but I never looked at him like a Peter Cech back then, #1 in the world. When you look at Gabriel, you look at Saliba,
Sounds good.
and you look at defenders, yeah, it was good, but he gave you a 7 out of 10 every week. When you look at this defence now,
Or 10.
yeah, or 10. When you look at what Daps just said there, like goalkeepers, and you know, both of them looking a bit shady, do you think this is affecting maybe even, I know the centre backs have been playing well, but the confidence of the rest of the team because they know they haven't got someone confident behind them?
Ooh, nah, man, nah. That's an excuse for Arsenal's back line. You're telling me Zinchenko, Gabriel, first teamers, by the way, are not good enough to defend out West Ham.
Who was partnering Gabriel last night?
Who?
Kiwior.
I think.
And then
been
Ben
a
White-
He
while
actually had a
coming.
good game.
So basically, this is what it was, yeah, from what I saw. Ben White, kind of a back three, Gabriel, Kivior, and then you got Zinchenko inverted next to Jorginho. That's the way it works. You had Bowen up front. Look, this is a double-edged sword for Arteta, 100%. Why? It's because you threw away a Carabao Cup. A lot of Arsenal fans wanted the trophy. Do not downplay the trophy like you're a Liverpool or you're a Man City. They have every right to say we don't need that competition, especially that Liverpool are on Thursday nights. They have every right to throw away that competition if they wanted to, and Klopp's got the respect to do that.
So
Man
do you think
City win it all
the
time.
Arsenal fans are
And
right
we
for
couldn't
getting
win it.
onto
So
Arteta?
let me-
We also couldn't win it. Literally, we were at the Super Cup.
Yeah, so it's that part. You want to get a trophy no matter what it means. You can't play down a Carabao. It's still silverware. Liverpool fans want to get it because they want to get one over us more, right? They haven't got nothing in the bank in terms of silverware. So how can that team even taste silverware? Why I say it's a double-edged sword is because if they go into the Newcastle game and they've heavily rotated and gotten out of the Carabao Cup and they lose that against Newcastle, who also played their C team against us at Old Trafford and won 3-0, dickheads. And other than that, bro, imagine they lose to Eddie Howe now.
Yeah.
Now, how are the Arsenal fan base going to look at Arteta? Because you're trying to go for the Premier League, which is obviously the main silverware of domestic stuff. And then obviously you just been knocked out of one.
Yeah.
So it's either you get your response or you pretty much sink. Which one do you want?
And do you know what? I think it's actually a very good point. 'Cause when you look at it, they rotated yesterday. I think people wanted them to make maybe 3 or 4 changes. They made 8 changes yesterday, Arsenal, and it didn't work. You're going to have Saka's going to come back in, Odegaard's going to come back in, obviously Saliba will come back in. But like you said, there's no guarantee they're going to win, and Newcastle are going to be fit and ready to go as well. And when I look at it, I know people say, oh, I don't really look into times of games, win, this and that. I'm telling you now, I do. And when it's a
Is it
Saturday
12:30?
and it's a
No.
5:30
Oh,
kickoff
it's 5:30.
under the
Oh,
lights,
12:30.
Sky Sports, I'm telling you now that Newcastle are going to be raring to go. And like you said, they're trying to win the Premier League this year. And I know there's only like 3 points between the top 4 or 5, whatever it is. But they need to go there
I've got
and
to
try
ask
and
Daps a
get a
question.
result.
I've got to ask Daps
Yeah,
a
go on.
question. Yeah. Are Arsenal squad good enough? Yes or no? Just a quick one.
Off the top of my head, I thought they were.
See, this is what I mean. If rivals are having a doubt in the mind of it all, then there's going to be more questions. Imagine what Arsenal fans
Do you
are
know what,
thinking
bro?
right now.
But I feel like I'm in. A
Okay, let me
position
ask you
where it's
directly.
keep
What
hold-
cracks have they got?
Ooh, better question.
That's what. It's a good question because I haven't really thought about it because I'm not looking. I didn't look at last night and think, by the way, oh, that's it. Arsenal are dropping
Yeah.
off. I didn't think that at all.
Nah,
I thought-
no chance, no
Mm.
chance.
I didn't think that.
You could say it's
Um,
a chink in the armor, pretty much, a little
well,
bit.
Do you know what? Right, this isn't on Arsenal. This is on Arsenal. This is on Liverpool. This is on Manchester City. This is on Tottenham. This is on Chelsea. This is on Man United. This is on every single football club. I think one thing that we've learned over recent weeks, and let's just take Man City as an example with Rodri and De Bruyne, is it's about key players, right? So I'm not going to say you could look at a position and go, there's multiple backup there, right? If the backup doesn't know how to do the role, and that role is so damn important, then that's the issue. And it's also about the players knowing the system and being comfortable with the system. I think that is an issue with most teams when they rotate, right? Is not that the players, not always, that the players they're rotating aren't good enough. It's that they have not played the system enough, right? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
If you look at, that's why I really wanted Grealish back because he knows the system.
Yeah.
Bernardo knows the system. Rodri knows the system.
And
They
when you
know
bring
how to
in
work
and when
with
you
each
bring in
other.
them players as well, like we said, we can't expect them to be 10
Get
out of
the
10
system
straight away.
instantly. You
But
can't.
the big thing for me going into this game, I wanted to discuss is that there's always key battles in games, and for me, I think Declan Rice versus Bruno Guimaraes is going to be one of the best battles. The reason is,
technically,
first
do
of
they
all,
technically do
Rice
they
eats
think
him.
about it? Think about it.
Rice eats him.
Technically, do they even come up against one another? They're both playing in a DM.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what?
yeah.
No,
but hold on. There's one great example of that. I always remember it when Argentina played Holland in it was a Euro or World Cup, and it was Mascherano and Nigel De Jong.
2010.
And both of them
010,
just
yeah.
kept breaking everything down.
that-
Yeah?
and
they
that-
didn't really come
They
up
did, and
against
some-
each other.
yeah, yeah,
It was
yeah.
a break.
that is why I'm
Pretty sure
saying
it's
key
010.
battle because for me, I put in it as a key battle because Bruno Guimaraes with Tonali now out and suspended, he's going to be their most important midfielder.
so-
And when I look at Declan Rice, when you're going away to games
Fantastic
like
player
when
this
you're going
season.
away to games like Newcastle, St James's Park, you need a player that's going to be able to
Morse
be up
code.
and down the pitch, going to be strong, win the ball back, tackle, and be a driving force. We've already seen Martin Odegaard not really stand out in big games. If Arsenal are going to get a result this weekend, I think Declan Rice is the midfielder
So let me ask
that
you a
has
question.
to stand out.
Let me ask you a question. Let me host. How has Bruno's Guimaraes? I'm going to butcher that. How's
said
his-
it right.
Did I say it right? How's his season?
I'll be real with you. Newcastle
7,
fans
7, 8.
might not like it. I think he's been about 6.
Right,
I
okay.
think he came in and had a great impact. And I think he's actually, I wouldn't say regressed, but he's definitely not had the big impact that people
So,
expect.
I
He's-
disagree.
And then,
I disagree.
And then how's
A little
Declan
bit.
Rice's season been?
I think Declan Rice has been very good.
Very for me, very good is No, it's probably fair, but I was going to say underrated. I think
Yeah.
I think Declan Rice is, and you said it. I expect Declan Rice to be one of Arsenal's best players. I also, just going back as well, when I was talking about knowing the system, the other thing is knowing your partners. And I saw at one point Gabriel yesterday for Arsenal looked quite frustrated over something.
Yeah, he did.
I don't believe he looks frustrated with Saliba next to him.
Nah, no chance.
Partnership is everything.
It's like that's typical everyday life. You go to work and you have
Yeah.
your typical person sitting next to you, and then you got the absolute dickhead you don't like sitting
Yeah,
next
and
to
then
you.
you're
It's like,
moaning.
oh, what a dead
Yeah,
day.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
That-
yeah.
that-
Yeah,
no,
Sam.
but for Bruno Guimaraes, I think he had a poor start to the season, and then he flipped the switch when he got his contract and stuff like that.
Shock.
And then
So you looking at Bruno Guimaraes and thinking that he's growing.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Let me
But-
ask you
but
then.
let me tell you now, yeah.
Isn't this a big game for him that he's got his contract with Tonali out? He's got to be the big midfielder for Newcastle to step up against a City or Arsenal, someone that's going for the league.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't expect Newcastle to win this game.
Okay.
As
You
much as
don't.
I've been criticizing Arsenal, it's because if I'm gonna treat them like champions of a potential
Title
league
contenders.
title contender, I'm gonna treat you like one with all criticisms I can find. Not just as a Man United fan, but Newcastle. In respect to them, they've done amazing. But because it worked against Man United with all their injuries, you're coming up against a top team that's in motion, in cycle. And yes, they lost against West Ham's A team. You could pretty much to their B team.
It was, yeah.
They will have Saliba back. You know, they will have Rice playing. They will
Odegaard
have
will
Saka,
start.
Martinelli.
Yeah.
Like, people forget about this. As much as their B team might not look great against the West Ham A team, I expect Arsenal to probably make the best out of the situation.
And that's what I mean by when I said earlier about key personnel. I could show you 2 City teams, right? One with Rodri in, one with Rodri, one change, and you will be able to notice if we play.
Yeah, 100%. You did
and
3
that
lost
is-
games under him.
And I honestly believe that is the same. Maybe it's not to as high a level.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we've had conversations probably on uploads and on lives about Odegaard and about how
Got a
look,
goal
he
last
isn't-
night.
Yeah, good goal, good
Yeah.
finish. Not just about the goals and the assists, but about what he does. Yeah, about the type of player he is, and that he isn't a De Bruyne. He's more a David Silva. Right? That is where you don't notice it, but it's so important to how Arsenal play. So without having him last night, that would have been a big deal, very big deal.
Yeah, yeah.
And even more so without Partey as well, because I
Yeah,
think him and Partey probably
Well, what-
are the people that create most of the moves.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
get it. Yeah,
to
the passing
confirm
through
though,
the
to
engines.
confirm, this is not over the top. Kai Havertz is a shambles, bro. He's a shambles. He was the worst player on the pitch yesterday, without a other than Ramsdale, was shadow of a doubt.
Was he that bad?
No, like, I'm not joking. So obviously, I was watching the first half now. Then Man United come on, switched off, and we had it on both.
Mm.
I was watching it. Kai Havertz had multiple times to get Arsenal back in the game. I remember in the first half, I think was it Fabio Vieira? Someone dinked or Georgie? Someone dinked it over.
Sipped him in down the left.
It's
and
so
he- yeah,
soft.
yeah,
It's
s-
so
yeah,
soft
sipped in.
with it. It's just like, mate, I don't think this is gonna work out for you. What soft?
Big
What
pause.
soft with it? What?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
hey, but
yeah, no, but-
right,
It's,
so let me ask you.
I wouldn't play
Yeah.
him on the weekend. I expect
Yeah.
Newcastle. Look, credit to Eddie Howe.
Oh,
man.
Arsenal will play a full strength team.
The thing is, credit to Eddie Howe because I think he's breaking the narrative
Yeah,
with
he
the
is.
British managers and everything.
Yeah,
He's
100%,
showing
man.
what everything needs to be happening at Man United right now,
Yeah.
and probably Chelsea and and probably other clubs at that. And I think his tactics are spot on. They're going to be
Yeah.
hard pressing and obviously playing the way they do play. They're going to be energetic. Crowd's going to be like a cauldron in there. They're
Yeah.
going to want to play a big game. They want to get revenge. Like they want to see another Liverpool type situation at St James's Park. You know, they just lost to Borussia Dortmund and whatnot. So I think this is going to be a great game. It's going to be a tight game, and that's exactly why I wouldn't play someone like Kai Havertz.
Yeah, do you know what? I do think with Eddie Howe, I do want to chip in on that because I even said a never a foul when we done the predictions at the start of the season. I'm gonna show respect to Newcastle. I thought that Eddie Howe might be one of the first top 7 managers to be sacked, but every week he's showing me that he's actually not. I'm not going to say the real deal because they haven't won silverware yet, but for Newcastle and where they want to be right now, if I was a player and Newcastle are coming to me, I'm thinking, do you know what? I want to go there because when you see the performance they put in against Manchester United and they're playing with their B team who haven't played Kraft and Paul Dummett for a year, but they're coming in and fitting the formation like a glove.
Says
That
everything.
just shows you everything about
Everything.
them buying into the manager.
Toolbox.
Even them little things. I know people laugh. You know them team photos they do? It shows the
no,
morale, though.
bro, listen,
it shows the
Bro,
morale.
I said to Cass earlier, right, that one of the things where United are being, or some of the Ten Hag defenders are, and I don't mean Varane, I mean them lot online and whatever, and in the comments, that really come strong today, talking about, you know, it's not on him, it's on the players and whatever else. And ultimately, for me, if a player's morale is not great, if a player's what's the word? If he's down in tools, right? Yeah, that's on the player, but also that's the job of a manager to make sure that, like, you put out fires within that if a player is unhappy, even if it's not you, you get your assistant to put his arm around him and sort it out. Like you, all right, you're not the CEO, you're not the director of football, but you have a big control of the players, right? And you have people around you. You know, I know Pep has had people that I'm like, who's he? What's his role?
He got
role
he got his assistant back from a few years ago back in.
With Sterling, used to go and put his arm around Sterling and make sure
you need
that
that
is the job
connect.
of a manager, right? If the player's morale drops, that is on the manager. Now with Eddie Howe, it's a complete opposite, and that's what I said to you. They're playing for him.
And even when they've had setbacks, they've always bounced back. And that's the thing about Newcastle. Their fans are really they're really believing in it. And since the owners are coming, it's just changed the whole cycle of the football club.
Bro, do you know what? That's something on, obviously, I've got a friend that works for the Saudis, and he always says to me how they're very friendly, they're personal, they remember his name, and they also want to share the vision. They want him to share their vision. They want you to be involved. Right? And that is how it seems at Newcastle. 5:30 kickoff, though. You touched on it earlier, how they'll be up for it. Listen, 5:30 means it's a Saturday, right?
Everyone's watching.
Most of the women get the time away from their men for most of the day. The men get most of their time away from the women, or they go together.
You're not met Geordies. They all love football.
Which means more of this, more shots of Sambuca, right? More. And then louder. We all know.
They've been able to get on a special day. No, it's
louder. Yeah. Like I always remember. I think when you played Brentford last year, second game of the season, and it was a 5:30 kickoff, and I said 5:30 in the sun,
and
in
it was
London.
bare sunny.
They're on it, drinking all day long. Right?
They're loving it.
They will be louder. So tomorrow for Arsenal, it's a hard game, but I hope Newcastle get something. Just to touch on, have they got many injuries? Because I know they had a few against
Arsenal.
No.
No, they still got a lot of injury. They do, yeah. So everyone that was injured on our bit is still injured for them.
But they're gonna Botman's out. It's an unknown return actually. They said today. In regards to with it, though, Wilson will come back in. Obviously, Gordon will start. Isaac's out. Almiron will come back in, but obviously got Joe Linton back. Wilson fresh.
Bruno Gomes fresh.
Bruno Gomes fresh. Trippier fresh.
I bet Tonali's not. I bet Tonali's not available.
Hey, do you know what?
Might be betting on that one, innit?
One big thing is, well, obviously Callum Wilson and Nketiah, strikers have got to put away their chances. But one thing I think we'll wrap up our predictions is for Arsenal, with Tomiyasu not playing against West Ham, he started last week in the Premier League. Zinchenko, unfortunately, it's going to be one of them things where you're not finishing games, but Tomiyasu came in last week and had a very good game. Deserves his start. And I think Tomiyasu, against a Newcastle team away from home, left back, more solid. I see him coming back in. But we'll wrap it up now with our predictions. Cass, Newcastle.
You know what? I'm gonna change my prediction. I said I expect Arsenal to win with all them, but respect to Eddie, I'm gonna go a 2-2 draw. You know,
I want a Newcastle win, but it's gonna be 2-1 Arsenal.
I was gonna go same as Cass, Desmond 2-2. Yeah, I'm gonna go 2-2. So we've got 2-2 and we've got 2-1 for Arsenal. So either way, at the moment, it's looking like Newcastle won't get the 3 points, but this is football. This is St. James's. They're going to be rocking with 50,000+. Guys, make sure you like this video. Get your comments in as well. Let us know your score predictions, and we'll see you on the other side.